With great fanfare in 1997, Hong Kong began a new chapter in its history with a promise from China to essentially leave the city alone for 50 years under a principle called one country, two systems.
Fairly early on, there were signs that the supposed high degree of autonomy that Hong Kong would enjoy was not going to be preserved.
Some signs. In 2003, over 500,000 people took to the streets against the proposed security law that rights groups said threatened basic freedoms. It was shelved. In 2014, China issued a policy document underscoring China's sovereignty and ultimate authority over the city. That August, China's parliament ruled Hong Kong could have a direct vote for its leader in 2017, but only for candidates endorsed by a pro-Beijing vetting committee. In September 2014, thousands of protesters thronged key roads, prompting police to fire tear gas. The Umbrella Revolution, named after the use of umbrellas to block police weapons, occupied roads in 3 major districts for 79 days, before being cleared by police. Beijing granted none of the protesters' demands, including universal suffrage. In 2019, millions opposed a bill that would have allowed people accused of certain crimes to be sent to China for trial. Peaceful protests snowballed into a populist movement against Chinese authoritarian rule. Analysts say the 2020 national security law was the point of no return.
It was a national security law, which superseded what supposedly Hong Kong was supposed to do under Article 23 of the Basic Law, but in addition, effectively created a whole new judicial system inside Hong Kong, involving mainland authorities, and brought in mainland authorities to handle security inside Hong Kong.
Under the NSL, authorities raided media outlets and civil society groups, many now shut down, and held key Democratic politicians and activists without bail. More than 2,000 people have been jailed for offenses linked to the 2019 protests, and on the 25th handover anniversary, no visible demonstrations of dissent.
I think in my mind that, and I think for many in Hong Kong, this is a city that is no longer recognizable. Even 5 years ago, you would expect that July 1st marks actually a day of protest.
Yet Hong Kong remains a viable financial hub. The territory continues to be capitalist, taxes remain low, and the Hong Kong dollar remains stable, pegged to the US dollar.
Hong Kong has been among the top in terms of fundraising in the world for equity markets, and Hong Kong has already for a long time managed to maintain its relevance among the top financial centers in the world. But of course, with the development of the COVID pandemic, things has not been so good in the past few years.
Other challenges loom large. According to Hong Kong's Census and Statistics Department data, the number of U.S. companies with regional headquarters in Hong Kong has dropped to its lowest point in years. The number of parent companies from 3 other G7 countries, France, Germany, and Japan, with regional headquarters in Hong Kong also fell. 25 years after the handover, one thing is clear. China's grip is not loosening, and for many Hong Kongers, promises made were not promises kept. Chris Casquejo, VOA News, Washington.